Hey guys, Doc. So today, what are we talking about? Today we're going to talk about grubs. And why am I going to talk about grubs? If you have these things in your lawn, you will know it pretty soon because you're going to see these brown patches all over, and it's going to be dead Bermuda, dead whatever it is, zoysia, whatever your lawn is. You got to take care of these creatures. You got to kill them off, and I'll show you how. Hold on. Hey guys, so over the years I've done a lot of videos on grubs, and we cover a lot of this in the lawn guides. We specifically cover the life cycle, how to kill them, how to treat them, when to treat them, everything. So get the lawn guides. There's calendars. There's nothing to download. We don't want your information. Just use them. Over a million people have used our lawn guides. Bermuda, zoysia, and cool season grasses. So get them. There's a website for each grass. Get them. They're up. So I was going to come over here and I was going to walk around the neighborhood and show you some potential grub damage, but it's just so rainy and so nasty out here. There's not a lot going on, but here's the important thing to remember about grubs. Grubs are different from something like armyworms. Armyworms will go along your grass and they eat the upper grass. You got it? So they're going to come in here and they're going to eat this upper grass, and you'll see some weak areas. You make a 5-gallon bucket with water, put a little bit of soap, dump it in an area, and within 10 seconds, you'll see armyworms come up if you have them. That's how you test. Then you can go ahead and treat for armyworms, and that happens later in the year. We're not worried about that right now. What we're worried about right now is we're worried about grubs. Grubs are starting to get active once the temperature comes up. They go through a life cycle. The beetle goes in, lays eggs. It'll lay 60 eggs. Then it goes into the larva, the pupa, and it's a life cycle that continually happens. So you need to break that life cycle. Now you can kill the beetles as well as grubs. So you can do this treatment any time of the year. But spring and fall are typically when people treat for it. Now, grubs go in and they actually eat the roots. You got that? So they're actually eating the roots. They're cutting those roots off and they're killing your grass. And it's hard to reestablish it. So what you need to do is, if you start to see brown patches, and maybe I can find an old picture, but if you find some brown patches, I want you to go to the edge of that brown patch. So don't necessarily dig right in that brown patch, but go where the brown and the green sort of meet. Dig out a 3-sided rectangle, I guess, or square, fold it back, and within 1 inch to 3 inches, you'll start to see some grubs. And if you see grubs, you need to treat for them. Now, how many grubs? Well, if you're doing that and pulling up a couple squares and you see 1, 2, or 3 grubs, you need to go ahead and treat. Because there's gonna be more of them. I typically treat once a year for grubs anyways. I don't care, I just go ahead and do it because all my neighbors have grubs, so I know I'm gonna have grubs because those beetles are gonna come from their lawn, they're gonna come into my lawn, and it happens every year. Now, about a month and a half ago, I went out front and I found a couple armadillo holes. That's a true, sure sign that you have grubs. Now the armadillos come in and they make about a 3-inch hole, and you'll see them all over your lawn. You're like, what the heck? Well, if you go out early morning when there's dew on your grass, you'll see the armadillo trail going through your yard. Or if you have a Blink camera system, you'll see the armadillo. I can see them all the time. The other place they go, and let me show you the other place that they dig, which is a pain in the butt. They go into your gardens, and if you got mulch and you're having mulch kicked out, that's armadillos in there digging up. So you need to actually treat there too. So what's kind of sad about this is this guy actually takes really good care of his lawn, but he has a really big yard, as you can see. And every year I see it out here, and I just want to knock on his door and just say, dude, you need to treat your grubs because they're creating these dead patches. And you'll see it out here. You'll see these big dead areas. And this is where the grubs are in there just eating these roots. A lot of people think it's fungus, but if there are no roots, the grass can't grow. Got it? Okay, Doc, you've convinced me. I'm going to treat my lawn for grubs. How do I do it? Let me tell you how to treat your lawn for grubs, how to prevent it, how to kill off the different stages of that life cycle, and also how to repair if you've got these brown spots. So number one, the treatment. We're going to put down the double kill product, Duocide. I linked to it down below. It's a granular product. It's a DG product, and the DG means dispersible granules. So as soon as it gets wet, it breaks into these fine particles. It actually, if you get it on cement and you spray it, it actually turns a little bit white. And what needs to happen now, the double kill is an over-under. So it kills fleas, ticks, ants, all kinds of pests up above once you wet it lightly, and armyworms too. But once it works down into the soil, that's when it's going to kill the grubs. It's probably one of the most effective grub killers I've found. So we come out, we apply it. Now in the springtime, I apply it at the heavy rate. So read your bag, understand what the heavy rate is, and put it down heavy. Then you're going to start watering. Water, water, water. Push that down into the ground. Also, if you're going to have a rain coming up, it's a good time to apply it, but that treatment needs to get down to the grubs that are about 1 to 3 inches down to the soil. That'll pretty much cure it. Even if you don't have grubs, once a year, I've gotten to the point where I actually treat for grubs. Even on this new lawn, we came out and I put an application down. Now, how do you fix this? If you're a cool season lawn, it's pretty simple. Once you've killed them off, you go out and drop some seed in that area. The hard part is if you got a warm season lawn. If you've got a warm season lawn, now you need to sort of push and let that good grass grow into that bad grass area. But there's another trick too. I've done this before. I've talked to this. Stop edging for a while and let the little runners that go on your sidewalks, they're called stolons. So you got these runners that are coming out from both zoysia and from Bermuda. Let them grow out. It's going to be ugly for a couple of weeks. Then what you can do is you can follow it down and sort of pull it out a little bit. Try and get a piece of that root. Get a screwdriver, punch a hole in, and push that down in. And you can do that in these spots. Now, most of the time, those little runners will actually establish because that's what they're supposed to do. They're actually supposed to grab roots. So if you get them down inside there, you'll actually start not just from the outside in, but from the inside out. You do not want to seed, and I've talked about this before. If you have a lawn that is sod or was ever created from sod and you go to Lowe's and buy Bermuda seed, it's going to look totally different. So you want to use the grass that's already there. You do not want to put grass seed, Bermuda seed, or zoysia seed down on a lawn that was created from sod because it'll look totally different. I actually have a patch in my backyard like that. So that's pretty much it. That's what you're going to do. Again, you can interrupt this life cycle. I'll show you right now. I'll put up a clip from where I was walking around. Barb had a real bad grub problem, and so I went around and I treated her lawn for grubs, but guess what? I caught them in a life cycle where there were beetles going into the grass, and guess what? I walked around and I picked up beetle after beetle after beetle after beetle after beetle, and it went on for 2 or 3 days. I picked up hundreds and hundreds of these beetles, these little brown and black beetles that were going into the lawn, getting ready to lay eggs to start that life cycle again. So yes, you can. It's effective, even though some people say, well, it's not the right time. You can treat it any time. You can kill the beetles and you can kill the grubs. As long as the weather's starting to warm up, they're going to be active. So I hope this has helped. Don't forget, PGF Complete is the fertilizer we should be putting down. Maybe what I'll do now is I'll just put up some stuff. I normally end a video with some farm crap that I'm doing for the day. So I ran around here. I also want to show you, I kind of had not a seeding failure. I just think I put down the seed at the wrong time. I put down seed, we got a little bit of rain, and then it dried out for like 10 days. Plus the temperatures. These temperatures, we're having some cooler temperatures, and it's really impacting the strength of the lawns. Our lawns are just really, really slow this year. So don't be too freaked out if your lawn is not the same place it was last year, because mine sure isn't, and all the lawns in my neighborhood aren't. They're way behind. They're a good month behind. But I went out, I've got this road strip out front that I'm trying to establish Bermuda on because it gets so hot and dry out there. This lawn right here actually looks pretty good. We're putting down cool season grass. I did order some zoysia seed, and when the temperatures get high, that's when I'm going to plant it. Seed germination is real critical. Soil temperature is real critical for seed germination. The warmer it is, the better for zoysia and Bermuda. You want to be in the 80s pretty much consistently before you try and seed. So let's go do some farm crap. I don't think this is going to end well, but I'm going to try and grab my John Deere and cut in between my garden rows before all this. We're supposed to have thunderstorms move in a couple of hours, and I want to get that grass cut down before it gets too warm. And of course, I jump on it, and it's out of gas, so I had to run down and get more gas. Let me tell you what I'm doing. Basically, I'm putting this on the highest cut setting. And we're going in here. This is a green walkway. Some people call it green mulching. And we're just trying to keep it low. But man, you got to stay on top of it. I really want this new clover to have a lot of sunlight. So that's what I want. I want the clover to take care. Course, sounds like something's wrapped up in the blade over here. Now I gotta go undo that. Good Lord, man, it's always something. Oh, make sure I'm not sitting in an ant pile. Maybe it's just the grass. I'm happy now. So I got this done. I think we're gonna have on and off rain for about 4 days, and I probably won't be able to get into these fields. And I especially wanted to get into this vegetable garden and cut our green walkways, or green mulch as we call it, down, because I got a lot of baby clover in here. So this is what I'm talking about. So we use no fertilizers up here. We just do one till. We put in dirt booster real heavy, and then we cover it up, put some armor on it. We plant clover, and we just leave it, and that's it. Nothing else. You can see the baby clover all growing in here. And then this is old ryegrass and some established clover, but this is what I want to do, is I want to keep this cut down. There will be a time where we're going to risk damaging some of the crops, especially like I've got a few squash up there coming through here. So we'll probably just leave it on those areas, but still in the tomatoes and peppers, we'll still be able to keep this at a moderate 6 inches or so. But this, when the sun is pounding down on normal soil in everyone else's garden, our soil has shade. When everyone else's garden has just plain dirt and water just runs across it and strips off soil, ours has tons of roots, doesn't move. It's one of the reasons why our pond stays so clear now versus all the other ponds around us are brown. Our pond is beautiful because every single square inch of our property now has roots in the ground, has green on it. So that's done. If you're still sticking around, I'm gonna walk over. I gotta go rinse this thing off. I gotta go rinse that John Deere off, but I want to walk over. I ordered online. I kept talking about renting a post hole digger / auger for a few projects I've got around here, and then finally I went on Amazon and bought one that has several different sizes. And one of the reasons why I bought it is because I think it has a 4-inch and all the way up to a 12-inch auger bit. So I can come in here for our trellis system, and I can drill down real easy and put in 2x4s in here. We're going to sink them 3 feet. They're 12-footers. They'll give us 9 feet. And then over here, I had John and Jeff spend 2 or 3 days cutting all the saplings out of here. So this area was starting to get really heavily loaded with saplings. Now you can see the old electric fence pole. He used to have goats on this property. But what I did was I came in and I killed all this off. This was clumping fescue. Then I came in here with clover and with some turnip seed, and it's all starting to sprout. So this whole thing will turn bright green. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this auger in here, and we're going to plant fruit trees in here. I think that'd be really cool. We had nothing planned with this space. I almost thought about letting it just go back to you know, thick, but I don't need any more thick on this property. And since we work this whole area, so let me take you up real quick. I'm gonna run up there and just look at the other fields real quick. All right, so this is our, what we call the buck field. We essentially keep this full of greens for all the deer and turkey. And man, look at that white clover. That is insane. I don't even know if the buckwheat's going to be able to punch through that clover. What I have been doing is cutting it down to about 7 inches or so. But I ain't getting into this field in this rain. It's just way too thick. But what happens is, when we cut this, all those grass clippings, all that organic matter just returns right back down to the ground. Man, it's just awesome. I'm gonna go check my other 2 fields, and then I'm probably go fish for a minute or 2. And then I'm going inside. All right, the high potassium field. This one I don't think I'm gonna cut as much, but I mean, we've got watermelon, butternut squash, pumpkin, a mix of squashes. This one will be cantaloupe, and then this one is zucchini, I believe. But I think I'm just gonna let this field kind of get a little bit tall and wild. I don't think I'm gonna cut it too much. As long as I get this baby clover and some of this buckwheat to come up. So if you've watched any of my videos, you know about my cornfield. It's funny, I had no plans for this field until David said, "Oh, I got that thing. I'll come up here. I'll put it." So here we go. Now we got a cornfield. If you build it, they will come. So this is pretty interesting. This is hybrid 85 corn, coming up really great. You'll see the little green things in here. That is baby clover. And then these broader leaf things here, those are turnip and brassica. And look at all the, I went a little heavy with the seed, but look at all this. Look at all this turnip and brassica. And that's the stuff. You need to hit that subscribe button, because in about 2 weeks, I'm going to take you back up here and I'm going to show you how quickly you can recover a field. Now, we only tilled strip, you know, like 6 or 8 strips in here in this whole field, and the rest of it we just killed off and then we replanted right away. Finally getting some heavier rains move in. We even have a chance of some thunderstorms, but man, I've never been so glad to see rainy weather. So it's funny, you know, the colder temperatures and everything moving in, all of our lawns are behind, fishing's behind. But the other day, I'm finally getting this pond to clear up real pretty. The other day I came out here, man, it was just fish after fish after fish. The sun had been out all day, it warmed up. But now it's kind of cold and it's rainy, and I won't catch crap, but I'm gonna throw a lure anyways. Well, just like the lawn, this cold rain and cold weather has got everything shut off. Go inside and cook me something nasty later. Die.